Okay, so now let's get into the actual arguments that R. Kelly could potentially make. Now, you may have known this already, but basically, I think Friday, R. Kelly has actually filed a appearance, I believe, or at least the internet seems to think so. And he's basically asking for a do-over. At least this article says R. Kelly wants to do over in a sexual abuse case lost because he can't read. And then there's another one. R. Kelly's lawyer says his learning disability was a factor in his latest legal loss, right? So essentially, to me, it looks like they're going with the first exception to the 2 year period. Now, me personally, I would not have rushed to file, I wouldn't have rushed to file anything in the civil case because if you're going to make an argument of legal disability, then you could make that argument anytime. And then if you truly don't have any money, then you're not worried about them trying to, get money out of you, right? Because basically, I think I've read another article that basically said R. Kelly's landlord had basically garnished his royalties, right? So they're gonna keep taking his royalties until he pays the debt. And then, as you may know, he had financial troubles paying the child support order, right? He was locked up because I believe he owed like maybe $160,000 in debt. So they locked him up for that. So basically, this dude doesn't have any money. Why would you waste your time trying to get this civil suit, replying to the civil suit when you have time? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't know his circumstances. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if it's really, to me it seems like a good idea, but I don't know what his lawyers advised him of. For whatever reason, he wanted to address this now. I would have waited a while longer until I got everything under control and I was stable, and then I would have gone back in to vacate this because according to this, if you have a legal disability, you were under duress, or the judgment there was fraudulent concealment, then that excludes the 2 year time period. Now, he's already claiming that he has a legal disability, but he could also claim the second thing he could claim is duress, right? Duress basically is saying that you were stressed out. You had so much undue pressure on you that you really couldn't think, you couldn't function. So, you basically just, didn't know what to do, right? So that's a legitimate argument because I think he was served this civil suit at the time he was locked up for sexual abuse. And as a matter of fact, I believe Heather Williams is actually a party to, she's one of the victims in the original sexual abuse case. So maybe this is a opportunistic attack where she's trying to serve him a civil suit while he's in jail to get some extra money, you know, kick a dog while he's down. But I think the duress is legitimate because he was locked up and he was stressed out over the sexual abuse allegation and the possibility of him going to jail for the rest of his life. So that is a legitimate argument. The other argument he could make is fraudulent concealment. Now, not necessarily fraudulent concealment because that's there's different types of fraud, and fraudulent concealment basically means that something was hidden from him probably during a business transaction, or something was hidden from him that he should have known, but it was hidden from him, and because it was hidden from him, he didn't get a chance to to defend himself in court. So that's kind of the argument he could possibly make in fraudulent concealment. But let's not forget there's also the other section of the 214.01 that basically says that nothing contained in this section affects any existing right to relief from a void order or judgment, or to employ any existing method to procure that relief. Now, basically, a judgment or order is void where it is entered by a court which lacks jurisdiction over the parties or the subject matter, or lacks inherent power to enter a particular order or judgment, or where the order is procured by fraud. right? So this section allows you to, number one, revisit fraud. We're going to talk about fraud first. It actually allows you to revisit the concept of fraud. If there's some particular way that they use fraud to actually get this judgment, then he can make that argument. Like, I don't know what happened between R. Kelly and Mrs. Heather. If she lied to him and told him that she was 19 at the time they were dating, well, that would be an argument that he can make in terms of fraud. I don't know that that happened, but I'm just giving you an example of where, he could basically say that, hey, she told me she was 19. She told me she wanted to be with me. She's lying. This is all fraud. Um, yeah, that's one of the arguments he can make. The other reasons he could have the judgment vacated is that the judgment was void. It was void because either the courts didn't have personal jurisdiction, and basically personal jurisdiction involves you getting service, right? So in order for the court to have personal jurisdiction, you would have had to have been properly served. So someone must have gone down to the jailhouse to hand him these papers. Did they drop half the documents in the parking lot and just give him, like the cover sheet or something like that, and he couldn't figure out what it was? I mean, that's an argument for personal jurisdiction. Did they even give the documents to him at all? Right? That's an argument for personal jurisdiction. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know that, this did happen. I'm just pointing out, some of the possibilities for making an argument for personal jurisdiction. If you were not served, if you were not properly served, then that's an argument for personal jurisdiction. We also have subject matter jurisdiction, which he's not likely to be able to claim, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Basically, subject matter jurisdiction uh, involves the court's power to hear the case, right? In order for the court to have subject matter jurisdiction, it must have a few things. It must have a complainant witness. It must have a genuine issue of material fact, right? Complaining witness is the person who was hurt, and a genuine issue of material fact is an actual controversy, right? If there's no actual controversy before the court, I'm hearing, I haven't read her complaint, but I'm hearing that it's based on suppressed memories. I don't know if that's an actual issue worthy of being adjudicated before the court. But if I were in R. Kelly's case, I would argue that it wasn't. Um, like I said, I don't know what she actually claimed. I would like to get my hands on that lawsuit. Maybe I'll get it Monday or next week. I don't know. But basically, if her lawsuit doesn't contain any genuine issues, then the court doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction, right? So, what I heard and what I believe is that she sued R. Kelly a while ago. He paid her off. I think they had like an agreement or something like that. And this is possibly the second suit. I'm not sure if that's true. I think that's just something I've heard. And maybe I'm getting all these victims mixed up. But, at the end of the day, if you don't have a genuine issue worthy of the court, then the court doesn't have the power to hear this case. I think it's called a justiciable issue. If there's no justiciable matters before the court, meaning if there's no genuine or real issues before the court, then that case should be thrown out. So that's it. This video has gone on too long. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it right here. Please subscribe and leave your comments and questions below. Thanks. Bye.